How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Great.
Christmas, Coach.
Merry Christmas to all of you. Happy New Year. I don't see you.
Coach, the biggest difference we've seen from the winning streak was your offensive line is starting to come together, move the running game, protect the quarterback. When I first started, I was told by a scout that anytime you start a different lineman at a different spot, it takes about 2 games. You started 5 guys at 5 different spots, but
Right.
all of a sudden, come game 11, start to get continuity. You seen the same thing?
Absolutely. And again, it's a great opportunity to talk about Goody and Joe and the job they've done with those guys, and Luke going over to another spot, which he played before in the past, and, Tristan flipping on the other side. There's a lot of different analogies you can think of, trying to use your left hand to brush your teeth, for example. But it's a really cool thing to see them come together, to see Cody develop, Hainsey really get a full season of work, to see all the things he needed to see, and Stinney, of course, had some playing time in the past, but that chemistry has been huge, and I've just seen them just stick to the fundamentals and focus on the basics of their play, and that's what's really come along for us.
Dave, along those lines, I don't know, catalyst is too strong of a word, but did the curve, or did it begin to turn with Stinney starting?
He's a part of it for sure. I think Filer was doing a really good job for us in there. I felt like he and Tristan had some really good chemistry on the backside, especially in pass protection, just the experience that those guys have. But definitely Stinney, just his power, the different things that he can do, has been a really cool thing that he's added to that line. And then again, going back to the chemistry of just hitting those combos with Tristan and with Hainsey, those things just get better and better as the season goes on and as we just continue to stay committed to trying to find ways to run the ball.
Dave, last week you talked about wanting to do right by Todd and the organization.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, what have you learned from Todd about being a coach and keeping the locker room together, and anything you picked up on?
Are you trying to get me to cry again up here? I mean, that was a one-time deal. Okay, we got it out for the year. I think I've talked about this before with Coach Bowles, is his consistency. I think that I've just watched him just with the ebbs and flows of this season. I mean, the roller coaster that this season has been, to watch him just be steady and to be the same guy with the same message to the team, same message to the staff, the same belief, even through that 4-game losing streak, for him to talk to the guys after the games in the locker room and say, guys, if this was an effort problem, I'd be really concerned. But you guys are playing so hard. And just reaffirming the good parts of what our group means and the character of this team, he kept reaffirming those things and saying, however, we got to work on these fundamental things, and just going right to it, attacking it, show it in front of the team so that everybody's accountable to it, coaches included. We all have our things to work on. And he just kept it about those things. He didn't make it about these bigger stories or anything like that. He just kept it about the ball, and that's what I really appreciate about him.
It's always about wins, right? But you've got some guys that could hit some milestones on this offense, and you've done that in Seattle where you were there. But 2 1,000-yard receivers and a 1,000-yard rusher, it's never happened in the same year in Tampa, I don't believe. So what does it mean that those guys are so close to doing some of those things and all in the same offense?
Yeah, I think it just speaks to the balance of what we're trying to build here. This from the first press conferences, it's this attacking style of offense that has a run game that's viable, that has the play action plays that come off of it, the screens that come off of it, and then the timing and rhythm of the pass game. And it's taken us all season to really get the whole thing working on all cylinders, So I think that it's really cool. It's again, for me, it's like I just want to build something that we can be proud of, and that's where my heart is to say that we're not a laughing stock. We're not out here just throwing the ball around and doing those things or searching the next big play. It's like something that we can hang our hat on to say, this is our system, this is how we do things, and here's all the stuff that comes off of it. And we're continuing to expand even now as we solidify some of the things that we want to be consistent for us. There's plays off of plays that are starting to come alive for us. And so to have that kind of productivity coming out of the quarterback, the skill players that we're trying to get going, to make the focal point of the offense, just means that we're doing a great job of putting them in a spot to be successful.
We talked during that losing streak where, as you said, your system, your faith in it was starting to waver at all?
Absolutely. I'm human, so for me, I didn't have a choice but to continue to believe. I didn't have a choice but to say, this is what I know. So, and then again, we talked about some of the veteran coaches, Coach Rapone, Coach Ross on the defensive side, and Todd, of course, and then I got a bunch of experience on our side, Keith Armstrong, these guys who have been through it all. They've been at the highest of heights. All these guys have Super Bowl rings, and they've been on some really rough teams too. And the consistent part of it is you don't change. You continue to be about the fundamentals, about the ball, about eliminating those pre-snap penalties, about all the simple basic things. And so if we can make our focus about just daily growth, can we just have a great Wednesday? Can we have a great Thursday? Then we can block out all the other pressure, myself included. When I start to get a little discouraged with what's going on here, it's like, okay, forget about all that. Don't look down the road. Just look at this game film. What can we improve on? And then that brings us all back to grounded. That puts our feet firmly on the ground and gives us something to really work on. So for sure. But I think that it was a real test for me too as a first-time coordinator. Say, are you going to stay with it? Are you going to be about what you said you're going to be about? And just continue to encourage the group like this is all we have, boys. So let's continue to grow that way.
We talked to Baker about him and his family kind of taking root in a new city with a new team. And for you, I mean, your entire NFL experience was 13 years in one city, one team,
Yeah.
one head coach. That made this such a big leap for you, geographically, professionally. If you guys are able to win Sunday, if you're able to win the division, what will be the most gratifying part of this year taking shape as well as it has?
I think that's a great question. I think there's a lot of angles that you can go, and to speak to from a family standpoint, my wife and I, she was there at my very first game I coached. It was at Carson High School. I was the head JV coach playing Venice High School. We got beat 34-13, and it was the greatest day of my life. I mean, I was just like in my element. It's like, this is what I want to do. And she really breathed this vision. It's like, she's like, you're really good. You're really good at what you do. You're really good with the players. We can go as far as you want to with that. And to have her backing, she's basically saying, like, if you want to go for it, you want to try to go college and do that, I can help to make that happen. That'll be our dream. And so that's a big part of this is our dream to be able to have an offense, and we were joking out on the field just a little while ago, one of my coaches in Seattle, Tater, Carl Smith, he I always had all these ideas as a young coach and like, man, I don't think this play is going to work. This guy's going to take this one or that one. Or what I would do is this or that. And he would be like, that's great. Go get your own offense. And that was always his final, all right, I'm tired of hearing all your ideas. If you want to do that, go get your own offense. And so I think that's been so fun for me is to just say, okay, this is my offense. This is our offense, but to be able to make it come to life and to have some success doing it is really gratifying. And then, of course, the other side of it is just the off-season training camp, the challenges of the middle of our season, staying together as a group. Saw a really selfless group of players stay together, not point fingers. I saw a really selfless group of coaches who weren't concerned about blaming other groups or other positions, but a group that just said, we all have stuff that we can work on while we're trying to figure out this or that. And for everybody to work together, to be pushing in the same direction, playing meaningful games in December, that'll be a really big part.
Coach, you worked for two guys at the different end of the spectrum. You got the Energizer Bunny, Pete Carroll, and you got the Sphinx and Todd Bowles. What's the one similarity with both of them?
It's all about the ball. They both care about turnovers, creating them and preventing them on offense. The fundamentals of football, effort first. So if I could make it simple, high effort and take care of the ball and then play smart. That's the one thing that coming from Seattle and then being here with Coach Bowles, from the minute we got on the grass against each other in the spring, we were practicing situational football. We were in 2-minute situations in different spots. It's game on the line. You got 20 seconds at the 18-yard line. We're at the 10-yard line with 8 seconds. You're at the minus 35 with 1:26 and 2 timeouts. He just kept throwing these really difficult situations at our guys, and that challenges me as a play caller, and then, of course, challenges the defensive guys to get their calls in. So I think those are some of the biggest similarities, and, of course, consistency of messaging. Pete's messaging in Seattle, the language that we use, the discipline of the language there, and then here with Todd being the spokesman and the mouthpiece for our vision for our team and being consistent with his language. Those are some of the things that are really impactful for me as a young coach, saying if I ever got a chance to do this, I got to be really consistent about the messaging and really emphasize the things that we care about as we put a team together.
Whether it was David Moore 2 weeks ago or Trey Palmer last game, how important has it been to get just a third wide receiver involved if Mike and Chris can't get the ball on every passing play?
Yeah, it's huge, right? It's been Rashad, it's been Cade, it's been Demo, Trey Palmer, DT in the first New Orleans game, making some great plays for us there. So a lot of guys have been, doing their part and their role in what we do, and then that just makes us really balanced, and they have to cover the whole field when those guys come to life.
Coach, I don't know if you've seen the mic'd up video of Luke Getty, but it's clear that he brings like a level of energy and smack talk to the offense. What can you say about that impact?
Just 7 minutes of just pure fun to watch that. Bucs fans, if you haven't a chance to watch that, please check it out. But I think it's great for our attitude of who we want to be. It's about toughness. This game, at the end of the day, it's about these one-on-one matchups, and you see a guy who just from snap one until the end, all the way through, he's challenging the guys across him, and I think he liked being mic'd up a little bit too. So there's a little showmanship in there that I didn't know he had, which was pretty cool to see.
It's a coach quarterback league, right? That's no secret to that. But when you have a guy that comes in, all his experiences, people have preconceived notions about him. You gotta be authentic. I think Baker's that.
Yeah.
So he takes on a new offense, a new first-time play caller, a lot of stuff, right? Changes like you did, different cities.
Yeah.
How has he navigated that? What makes Baker Baker? Why do people want to follow this guy?
He cares. He cares about his guys. Like, he cares about all of us. And he came here, and from the jump, he wanted to meet with certain guys, and really start to develop the relationship. The chemistry he has with the offensive line, like, he belongs in that room, like with those dudes. And at the same time, he comes into our QB room, and we have a level of conversation in there where we got to kind of talk about everything. And so he's able to, he's got that chameleon effect, where he's able to kind of make his way into any group and then just be really comfortable in his own skin is a big part of it. And then a guy that just bets on himself, and at the end of the day, he's like, game on the line, I want the ball in my hands, and let's go. And that's kind of his mentality, throughout the game. And I think that he's done a great job of balancing that with when to try, when to take care of the ball. A sack's not the worst thing in the world. I know we don't like it from a statistical standpoint looking back at it, but sometimes taking a sack when they have a clear advantage on a rush or on a blitz, it's a great, he's made some great decisions for us, and that's the kind of ball that's going to take us further. One of the first things we do in the spring is we watch crossover film of all the playoff teams, and we watch the quarterback play from a pocket standpoint to see how really good playoff quarterbacks manage games, know when to try, know when to say uncle, and say, okay, well, we got a great defense on the other side. Let's just keep playing football. We're going to flip the field. And they have that in the back of their minds. And so to watch him grow into that and take our team in that direction is another great attribute that Baker brings.
You guys got a chance to have a perfect December, so is there a New Year's resolution that you have in mind?
Honestly, just day by day, day by day, if we can continue to focus on having great effort, controlling our attitude and continue to improve fundamentally. There's so much stuff every game that we have to grow off of. It's really just, I guess it's just recommitting to the foundational pieces of what we're about. That's going to take us, as far as it will, but no real big resolutions.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.